What's up, everyone? It's Karthik with MoneyVest. Welcome to our Monday morning market open live stream. Hope you all are doing fantastic. And the markets are indeed pushing higher a little bit. So QQQs are up 90 basis points, trading back up to $595. We got the S&P 500 also up over 0.5% at the moment. And of course, we got Nvidia up over 0.5%. Tesla is also pushing up almost 2% in pre-market trading, with volatility coming back down. It's only down about 3%, which is a little bit less than what you'd expect if the markets were pushing higher by close to 1% on the day. But it is still pretty elevated, right? So volatility is indeed still trading well over 22 right now. And of course, Ethereum is also trying its best to push back above 2,900, and Bitcoin is sitting at just over $86,000 right now. So hope you all are doing great and are having a fantastic Monday morning. Hope you all had a great weekend as well, and we are ready to get started with this market open. And yes, it is going to be a very short week. You're going to blink and this week is going to be over for trading, because Thursday the markets are closed. And then Friday we're going to go through an early close as well. So that is also going to be very, very important. So this is the this is the entire 2025 trading calendar. And this is on the NYC website, and you can pretty much access it. And this is the month of November, of course, and this is the week that we're in. And so far, as mentioned earlier, we are down a little bit over 3.5% for the month of November. And we've only got 3.5 trading days to change that. So if Monday, Tuesday, if today and tomorrow we don't make much progress, then I doubt Wednesday or Friday we're going to be able to flip the script for the month of November. And this would be the first negative November close in a long time. The last time would be back, I think, in 2011, 2021. We were down about 80 basis points, but prior to that, we were in 2011. And so 2021, we were down about 80 basis points. So far, we're down about 3.5%, but considering pre-market, we're pushing up. We're down about 3% roughly, if you were to consider pre-market moves. But like I said, we only really have 3.5 days to flip the script to essentially close positive if we were to. December is also going to be a pretty short month because there is a lot happening. So if you come take a look on the actual days, we do have triple witching. We do have the rebalancing on the S&P 400, 500, and 600 on the third Fridays of March, June, September, and December. Triple witching happens, March 21st, June 20th, September 19th, and December 19th as well. So that's going to be there. And of course, Christmas Day, which falls also on Thursday, is going to be a holiday. And I think Friday is not going to be an early close. Wednesday is going to be an early close in December. So in December, Wednesday, the 24th, is when we're going to see the markets close early at 1 p.m. Eastern. So it's that time of the year again, folks. Thanksgiving and Christmas. Some deals and discounts might be in order. And then eventual Santa rally. We'll see what Santa gives us this year in 2025. But yeah, hope you all are doing great. And any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to cover and discuss all these names, all these stocks here. And then, so this is where we are with this entire market. And a few more things I want to mention is December 1st, mark your calendars. December 1st is when our update goes live for the MoneyVest platform. So when you do log in on December 1st, after the announcement, after the markets close, you will see the brand new, redesigned, upgraded, better looking platform of MoneyVest.com. And a lot of really, really cool features and new additions that are going to be made as time goes on. And you can also access this on mobile. So now, mobile version, not the app, but the mobile version, the web version, is going to be available for everyone to access as well. You can pretty much look at the heat map, the market concentration. Our entire dashboard is going to be available on mobile as well as the web. And then essentially gives you a bird's eye view of where we are in this market, the market overview, market breadth, market momentum, streaks, consecutive days above moving averages, market performance. All of that is going to be available on mobile and web, as well as the MoneyVest Index, and not just the S&P 500, but also the NASDAQ 100, which I know a lot of people are waiting for this index to analyze it further as well. All the data is going to be available, so you can essentially see tabular form, all the minimum, maximum values, average, median, the year, all of that. So all of that is going to be there available starting December 1st. So we're very excited, as well as a shopping list you can access, the earnings calendar, and we're going to be adding more features. Like I said, we're going to crowdsource a lot of the features, everything that you guys tell me what you want on this platform, and we'll build it. We'll build it. That's the whole idea behind it, right? So it's a platform for you guys, and so I need suggestions, I need feedback, I need as much information as you can provide. That Karthik, this is what needs to be done, this is what you should add to the website, this is what we want, this is the data that we want to see, and I'll make it happen. So, but in return, I do want you to recommend it to other platforms, other traders, investors. Definitely encourage people to access the website, because it's I think it's going to be huge. And I'm spending more and more time on the platform to get a full bird's eye view of the market and doing individual stock analysis as well. Okay, let's see. Happy Monday to you. Another trading week begins. Half a week. Good morning. Good morning. First person here. Well, I think you were fourth, but George, still top 5, right? Good morning, Moneyvestors. Good morning, Mike. Mark, thank you so much for joining. Good morning, Akash. Can you bring up some possibility covered call candidates for Oscar, please? If you can tell me your cost basis and your objective with the covered calls, I can definitely share more insights on that. Tell us, please, what you think about Google stock when the market is open. So Google is in my shopping list. It's a great company. I think it's one of those ones that is actually holding up rather well. It's up another 4% pre-market, so very, very nice. Pushing up to over $311, and AI momentum accelerates here for the company. So surge to a record close and also pushing higher in after hours. Much of the market enthusiasm coming from Gemini 3, Alphabet's latest AI models. Early testing indicates the system outperformed competing models by 17% in code gen and instruction handling. The company also introduced a new version of its tensor processing unit, so TPUs, to handle larger AI workloads with far greater energy efficiency as well. So we're seeing some nice moves for Google here, up another 4%, $311. And that is a new all-time high. And support level is going to step at a 291 for the stock there. Okay. Do you think that SoFi could get into the S&P? I just see a lot about it, but I don't think it's real. So there's a lot of criterias for companies to enter into the S&P 500. Market cap, price for the stock, profitability for 2 consecutive quarters in a row. And so a lot of the factors, SoFi is already starting to meet. So yes, there is a possibility. And the next rebalancing, as we discussed, is going to happen on December 19th. So the third Friday of December is when the next rebalancing takes place. And then we'll have more information on that. But anything is going to be positive for SoFi, right? So if they do get included in the S&P, that is going to be huge for the company. Similar to what we've already experienced with Meta, for Palantir, for Tesla, for all these companies that have eventually been accepted into the famous S&P 500. If IREN NCLS doesn't go up a little bit, I will be assigned on a lot of shares. That's the beauty of selling puts, right? So you got to be very careful when you are selling puts. The two most important things when you're selling puts, your stock selection and strike selection. If you select both the stock and the strike well, and you do a lot of the research in the beginning, during the trade, it becomes a lot easier. If you don't put in the time early, then during the trade, it can be very stressful. So that's why stock selection and strike selection, 2 of the most important things you need to analyze before selling puts. Do you use Bollinger Bands as an indicator when selling options? So not necessarily. Selling puts for me primarily comes from the idea of fair value and support levels, and selling calls is essentially coming from resistance levels as well as where I would be comfortable selling my shares. And like I said, I am more open to rolling calls than I am to rolling puts, because rolling puts doesn't get me anything, right? If I'm rolling puts, I'm not benefiting anything. I'm just trying to avoid my assignment. And so it is not so much of a gain as it is as an avoidance of a mistake, if that makes sense. By selling calls, you are capitalizing on more upside because the appreciation is getting more unlocked. Instead of capping yourself, you are letting your shares run a little bit longer. So Bollinger Bands are great technical tools to better understand the overall trend and risk and reward and resistance support levels as well. But those are things that are part of the analysis, not the only analysis. Huge growth in the last year and half of the MoneyVest community. Big congrats, Karthik. Hit the like button for this man, everyone. Thank you so much, Mike. I really appreciate it. Yes, the last entire year has been incredible. 2025 has been phenomenal, and upwards and onwards from here because, as I said, we're going through a huge transformation of the entire platform. And, 2026, I'm very confident that this is going to be widely used with its UI, with its simplicity and the functionality and all the features and the models and all the different ideas that we have for data, right? There's so much out of the box data that I want to present on this platform. And all of that is going to be available. So super excited about that. And eventually you're going to see more and more data sets just like this, right? So a lot of people don't even know that all this is available on the MoneyVest platform. So I've got to always mention it. You can actually go over to any stock right now and look at their historical bear markets and drawdowns. So this essentially tells you the historical drawdowns, like let's say for NVIDIA, 3 years. This has been the drawdown. And the yellow and the red line is for corrections and for bear markets, down 10%, 20%. And then this also shows you for how long it's actually been down there, right? So recovery duration in months. How many months did it take for that stock to recover? So all of that is going to be there in days, as well as the peak decline from top to bottom. This is for NVIDIA we're looking at, the starting date, the ending date, and how many months it took us. Earnings volatility is also there. So you can look at 4, 8, 10, 12, 16, 20 quarters and look at the stock performance and then how the earnings and the revenue surprises were, what was the price movement for the stock, all that. And like I said, adding more and more stuff into the platform. Okay, let's see. What would you say about APLD? So APLD we have analyzed before, technically speaking. So this is the technical analysis. Very, very strong support down here at around $20, starting to bounce right back higher from those levels. Very oversold as well. So it could be a good, decent swing trade opportunity, but keep a proper stop loss in place unless, in case we start to see a breakdown further below the $19 or $20 level. So that's going to be a pretty decent support. I doubled my position, Carlos says, in NVIDIA Meta, now make up 20% of my portfolio as of last week. Thoughts on Meta? I want to keep dumping and bring it to my winner. So I like Meta and Amazon both. I think those are great companies, as well as NVIDIA. You know that NVIDIA is one of my larger positions. So all these are great picks, in my opinion. These are stocks that I own as well. So support level for Meta is going to be at 581, resistance all the way up to 655, 657. We're seeing a nice little recovery there from Meta, up over 1% right now, back over 600. So it is a great value for money, in my opinion, given how much it's sold off. And we're also seeing some institutional activity as well. So the L3 banker oscillator, pretty evident that there is some big buyers coming in, stepping in for Meta. So I like both of them. Google announced a new cloud deal with NATO. I guess we can say that we are not out of the woods yet, at least not technically, right? Do you think that the pre-market pump is justified? What could be the reason other than a dead cat bounce? I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. We're not out of the woods yet, as we discussed in our market updates. We are still within the concept, within the context of this lower high and lower low pattern. So this is the downtrend, within which we're in. Support level is going to stay put at 6,550. So that is the level to keep in mind. If you break down below this, the next target is going to be 6,500 for S&P 500, right? So that's going to be more lower lows and lower highs for the market. Same thing with the NASDAQ. So we are in this lower high and lower low pattern, so within a downtrend. And if you do break down below 22,000, next support is going to be all the way down here, sitting roughly at 21,700. That's, again, going to be at lower high, lower low inside this downtrend, right? So we're not out of the woods yet. Nice little technical bounce. Could be a dead cat bounce, but we'll find out as the day progresses. Okay. Indeed, I hope to get assigned on my 26-hour CSPs on SoFi expiring December 5th. That's going to be pretty good. If I wanted to learn how to trade options, what is a good resource? I mean, there's plenty of resources available for free. If you wanted to take advantage, you can just simply type learn how to trade options, on Wikipedia, on Investopedia. You can learn how options work. But of course, we also have a options tier as well as an options course if you're interested in taking advantage of that as well. That's a more chronological way of learning where we start from the very basics on what options are, what is a call, what is a put, what's your right, what's your obligation, all of that. And then it kind of builds on your knowledge on more and more strategies, right? Whether that's selling covered calls, selling CSPs, iron condors, credit spreads, collars, strangles, all of that. We kind of talk about more strategies as you build on your education. So that's always there. Wikipedia, heck nah, they can buy the options course full annual tier. Yeah, I mean, you could do that as well. Or I was just going over some of the free resources, but then you're also spending a lot of time researching, trying to put together information, trading, making mistakes. That's how I did it, right? So, but then if you want a very simple chronological way of learning, because one of the things that, with options trading is the first thing that many people stumble upon is buying options, right? That's the cheapest way to get started, and that's also one of the cheapest ways to gamble. So buying options can be risky, and buying options can also be a very cheap way to get started with options trading. And when there is a cheap way to get started, meaning you're only paying, let's say, $50 or $100 to buy a call, right? The risk is low, but the reward potential is high, but the probability for success is also low. When you are selling options, which is what I do, which is what we do as a community, yes, there is a higher collateral requirement. You need a lot of shares. You need a lot of money to trade options the right way. But then with that level of collateral comes a higher probability of success and pretty good premiums, right? So you're essentially collecting premiums and you're collecting income for your shares or for your cash that's just sitting there. It's no different than if you were to just park this money in a bank. But instead, we're using that capital to generate income for us, which we can then reinvest back into the market, or we can do whatever we want with it. So, and I've always mentioned this before, and Danny says, I've only ever bought calls and puts, never won, lost thousands, started off following Chris, just found your channel. Well, Danny, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And as I said, selling options is one of the best ways to generate income. And once you can scale that strategy, it becomes a lot easier. Because if you can perfect selling options with $10,000, then it's only a scalability issue. You can do that with $100,000. We can do that with $1 million. All you have to do is just replicate the same exact strategy and just sell options. And then the next goal becomes, how can I scale to that level? That's the goal. Because with $10,000, you're making 2%, let's say 1.5% per month. That's $150. It's not life changing. It's not going to get you retired the next year. But if you can scale that with 100,000, let's say, then I'm making $1,500 extra per month. Now we're talking. Now it's a little bit, right? But at $1 million, now it's 15 grand a month that you're able to generate. So with options, it's just a math problem that we need to fix. But the first thing is we need to perfect the strategy. We need to become efficient, proper strategic risk managers. That's what I tell people all the time is just more and more repetition, more and more practice, and within no time, you'll get better at it. Even I'm learning every single day. I sometimes break my own rules, but what can you do, Nice profit from Oscar. Dumped it. Market's still choppy, taking profits. Are you buying more BITX or is it a risk off time? So I may pick up more BITX. Bitcoin's been struggling for sure. So I'm planning on picking up BITX. It's now trading at a very attractive support once again. So we are now at $26, $27. So I am planning on either picking up more shares or selling CSPs. One of those two I am planning to do for BITX. Okay, I have the IQ of a monkey and watch Karthik's tutorials, and I'm almost the Buffett of selling options now. Just try, everyone. Thank you so much. That's such a funny and great comment, by the way. That's crazy, Walter. But no, I'm glad that the tutorials are helpful. We've tried to really break it down as simple as possible to help everyone understand how it works. Because like I said, buying options can sometimes feel like you're just throwing money, because you need to be right on the stock, the time, and the direction all at the same time, right? So the price, the direction, and the timeline. And you can't possibly be correct on all three consistently, right? But when you're selling options, direction starts to become less relevant, right? When direction is not relevant, then that's the unlocking part. Like where you're like, okay, it doesn't really matter where the stock goes. I'm making money regardless. So that's the beauty of selling options. Encounter, yeah, options trading is super simple. I don't know why people think they are more complicated than they are. Well, they are simple, but they can get complicated with the strategy, right? So if you are just selling a covered call, yes, it's the simplest strategy out there. If you're just selling a put, absolutely, 100% agreed. It's a very simple way of generating income. But then once you start looking into credit spreads or iron condors or zero cost collars or butterflies or all the other more complicated strategies, then yes, things can get a little more wild. And that's when the baseline understanding 100% needs to be there. Because if you don't understand what you own, then in times of distress, panic happens, and we don't want that. So always know what you own. Yeah, that's what Peter Lynch says, right? Always understand what you're buying and always know what you own. So yeah, it depends on the strategy. But as I said, as long as you understand all of it, then it can be very, very simple. Okay, if Alder can do it, so can you, Mike says. Oh, God. Oh, by the way, it's Mike's birthday, Alter. I think you mentioned something, right? Oh, wow. Okay, happy birthday, Mike. That's amazing. Man, I forgot we have so many November birthdays in the community too. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, Stefan. Really appreciate it. Options course from MoneyVest is really great. I'm very happy and still learning. Thank you. My CSP is no longer than a week. Yeah, so 1 week is the starting point, and then we go out to a couple weeks. I always prefer to keep them around 7 days to as much as 14 days at best, 30 to 45 day mark. Anything under 45 days is really the sweet spot. So that's good because you can always roll up and out. But it's hard to roll down and in. That's where what we try to avoid in most cases. Do you have to own the stock to sell options? Well, covered calls, yes. You have to sell covered calls. That's why they're called covered, right? Because they're covered by your stock position. If you don't have the shares, then you're selling naked calls, and we absolutely avoid that with a flag. We just say no, absolutely no to selling naked options because in those options, the losses can theoretically be uncapped and unlimited. Because if the price just blows past the strike price, then you would essentially enter what's called a short position. You wouldn't have shares to deliver or sell, and so the broker will initiate a short position, which, as we know, with any short position, your losses can be infinite, right? Because the stock can keep going up. So, yeah, we want to avoid that. We always want to have coverage with the shares. No, that's why it's a bit more risk-averse strategy, but it's a high probability of success. All right, so let's see. If I wanted to close my CSP early in Oscar, would I buy to close? So the current price is 50 cents. Just say, and the premium was 90, so that I can take $40. Can you try and change the ask buy back to 60? Yes, you would just buy to close, and always remember to verify the bid and ask spread, because sometimes you can have a huge variance, and your option on your brokerage will always price it at the, when you're buying to close, you're buying at the ask. So it's always going to price it at the ask. And so, ask can sometimes be a lot higher than where the price is trading. And so you don't want to pay more when you're buying it back, right? You want to pay as little as possible when you're buying the contract back. And so if the spread is really wide between the bid and the ask, always be as close to the bid or be as close to the last traded price as possible. Never hit the ask when you're buying to close, and never sell the bid when you are selling to open, because you might be leaving a lot of money on the table. So many times when I've bought to close a lot of options, it's been priced at the ask, but as soon as I've put in the mid price or my bid, which is significantly lower than the ask, it's been immediately filled. So there are orders there sitting. They're just waiting to be filled, and you just have to put that order in. With options, I 100% tell you to always avoid market orders. Please avoid market orders at all cost, because market makers will just screw you over like there's no tomorrow. They'll give you the worst fills. Slippage is going to be high. Spreads are going to be wide, and you're going to feel like you're collecting $100, and then you'll go to your account history and it'll be like $87 only. That's happened with me. That's happened with me so many times, actually. When I'm in a rush or I'm in a hurry, like I would just sell to open at market, and it's way lower than what I was expecting. Okay. All right, so we covered that. NVO dumping hard. We'll take a look at that. Have you covered Apple? We'll take a look at that as well. Just a couple stocks very quickly. Apple up 30 basis points. We covered that in our market updates, consolidating sideways in a range right now. And Novo Nordisk, wow, another dump here. Trial fails in a blow to a weight loss giant. Man, these are just like getting trial failures after trial failures. This stock just doesn't stop this year. So lower highs and lower lows continue. It's going to print another lower low inside this downtrend for Novo Nordisk. Brutal. Wanted to buy Oscar at 14-ish, but now it's pumped on the news. Should I wait for the price to come to me? It depends on how big of a position you really have. I mean, you can always start small and build from there. But yeah, 1635, 21% rally here, pre-market. Very, very nice momentum coming in. Very strong support inside this green rectangle at $13, $14. So that's where we are. Yeah, Oscar jumping pre-market. Yeah, learning the strike prices can be tricky. If you read options volatility and pricing, then options are super complicated, but making money doesn't have to be. Correct. It really depends on our strategy, right? What strategy you're okay with. Tesla out of the woods. Well, not yet. We're still consolidating sideways, right? So we are still in that range within which Tesla's been trading. Happy birthday. Perfect. Great. Energy Transfer LP, we'll take a look at that here. Google is strong. We covered that earlier. How far can Google go? Right now it's 310, 311. We'll monitor it during the day and how far up can it really go. Okay, let's see. Markets right now, QQQ is up 1% now, officially on the day. That's good. We got S&P 500 up 70 basis points. A lot of individual stocks also pushing higher. Tesla is back over 400 right now, 2.3%. Volatility is coming down. It's down over 4.4% now, trading down to 22. Still pretty elevated, but of course it is coming down. With regards to volatility, it is coming down. That's good, but it's still pretty elevated. So I would still be careful. And the bottom line is that unless we break back above to a higher high, I'm just not going to be convinced that we're out of the woods. And the 100 SMA is what's holding up as a pretty strong support. But the 50 SMA also is a very strong resistance for the S&P, right? So that's exactly what we have to watch for. And that's going to be staying put. Let's say we're up 70 basis points right now. Pre-market, we are up as much as 66.51. That's going to be the implied open. And right now the 50 SMA sits at around 6,700, 6,711. So that's going to be my take on the markets. Rick, your insights is fantastic. Thank you. Really helped me get into options. I started last month, only a small account, but I'm really learning every day. That's amazing. If you have any questions, our community is here to help every step of the way. For all new options traders, I also do mention a very simple one-on-one Zoom call to help you through your first trade. Just for the first options trade, we can evaluate that together, and we'll look at the premiums, what you're going to collect, and then monitor that trade together to kind of go over all the outcomes, all the different scenarios. And my hope or my, wish is for everyone to generate premium from their first trade, right? The first trade that you take in options to be profitable with the dollar amount that pays for the entire membership for the entire year. That's been my goal for every single person that I've gotten on this call with, is the first trade that we take, we're going to make sure that we generate good premium and it's going to pay for the entire membership. So at least you're getting immediate value from this, and everything on top of that is just going to be free value. So that is what our goal really is to provide you with the cash to pay for the membership immediately. Of course, we don't give any guarantees or anything like that, but that's been very successful for us. If they still have questions after the first call with you, send them my way and I'll jump on a call with them. Yes, Dave, absolutely 100%. That's what I'm going to do. But I also want to be very respectful of your time as well, right? Everybody's time. So, but yeah, that's the beauty of it. And look, long-term investing is going to be long-term investing. Buy and hold is always going to be amazing. It's going to be great, right? You buy great companies, you hold them for the long term, let the gains compound over years, and don't touch them. Just let them sit, and just in their compounding careers, like they're going to be up like 10, 20, 30 times over the course of, depends on how long you hold it, 7, 10, 20 years. But we do still have itchy fingers, all of us. I know we do. Yeah, Walter, that's amazing. At around $10 to $12, and after the first few trades, I paid for the subscription. That's amazing. That's great. All right, everyone. So 10 more minutes left for these markets to open. Don't forget, we have the PPI numbers coming out later this week. So if you come over to BLS, let's see. So if you come over to BLS and then looking at the revised schedule, for this week, we only have the producer price index, the PPI. That's it, right? So that's going to be for September. 2 months ago, producer price index numbers, I don't know how much of an impact they're going to have, but they come out tomorrow, right? So Tuesday, November 25th, that's going to be 8:30 a.m. Eastern. We're going to get the PPI. Everything else scheduled for next month, of which 4 of these reports are canceled. We're not going to get the CPI, we're not going to get the JOLTS, and we're not going to get the real earnings for October. I mean, most of the October reports are just not gonna come through, the important ones at least. And then inflation for November is most likely going to also be scheduled for later in December. That's still not updated yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be closer to the end of December. Unless they decide to botch 2 reports for inflation. And then one more is going to be employment situation. So that's the unemployment report for October is canceled, but for November, yes, right here. November, that's going to be coming out on December 16th. So not the first Friday of the month as it usually does, but it's going to come out on December 16th, a couple weeks later. So that's where we are. Rick, that's amazing. Definitely take advantage of the upgrade. We have a 40% Thanksgiving sale, as well as the Christmas sale that we'll have. Yeah, only better thing to finally learning how to trade options and have a successful trade is passing that knowledge on to the next new trader. Join us when you're ready to learn. 100%. It's just something that you feel really good about when you are helping other people, and that's been the biggest satisfaction of doing this is when someone tells you, hey, I made money because you taught me how to do this. And I know that a lot of members can feel that now, because I see every time I go through the messages, there's people helping each other. And it's all, I know, it's a little bit more spiritual, but it's all good karma. You're helping other people achieve their financial dreams. So it's always good karma. Okay, yeah, energy transfer LP. Let's take a quick look. What is the trigger symbol for this? ET. Okay, looks like a 56 billion market cap company. It's got a pretty strong dividend, 8%. Decent profitability. Revenues are pretty stable. And with any kind of energy companies and stocks, obviously they're going to be very volatile. And so on a monthly time frame, it's been on an absolute tear since 2020. This thing's up like 400%. And right now we're just kind of consolidating sideways. So we got a very, very strong support level right here at $15.86, all the way down to as low as $15. And then of course we got a resistance all the way up here at $17.50. So that is the area of consolidation there. Yeah, it takes no education to hit the like button. Yes, absolutely, I agree. Hit a like button for everyone for Mike. It's his birthday today, so let's give him a good 200 likes for his birthday. That's our objective as a community. We want to create a community where older members help out newer members, and the new members pay it forward. We all benefit from the community like that, 100%. And that's where you want to be, right? That's where, because you're getting the help that you need and you're getting the value to make decisions. And for me, like, it's so liberating, once you start to actually generate good income and you are pretty confident and you are trading well, and then you don't have to worry about anything. Like, you can do this from anywhere at any time, and it just becomes so incredible that you can free up so much of your time. Have you rolled out the SoFi covered call or not yet? Not yet. I haven't rolled that one out because I feel like it's still been bouncing around in and out of the money. So SoFi right now, I've got the $25 or the $26 call. It's still out of the money. So after the last week's sell-off, it's put me back out of the money. And so support level is going to stay put at $24 right now. So just curious, why when the markets are down, puts are in demand, shouldn't there be more calls? Anyone? So it's the same as why stocks are selling off when they're selling off. Everybody's in fear, right? Everybody's more in panic. And, so the masses sell stocks when stocks are selling off, right? And so people are buying more puts when stocks are selling off because the recency bias kicks in. And we are thinking, and we're talking in terms of masses, that, stocks are going down, they're going to go down more, right? And so put prices go up. When stocks are going up, everybody's bullish, everybody's greedy, everybody's like, if they're going up, they're going to keep going up. Let me just go ahead and buy some more calls. And so the demand for calls goes up, the premiums go up. And so it really benefits us as being on the other side of that trade to sell puts, because we're getting compensated for very high premiums with low amounts of risk. Because if the stock's already dropped like 30%, how much lower can it possibly go? Of course, it depends on the stock that we're talking about. Some stocks can go all the way down to zero. That's why stock selection comes in. Let's just take market as a general example. If the market's already down 30%, how much lower can it possibly go? The risk is coming down. And so when you're selling options, especially when you are selling puts on the way down, risk reward really starts to become juicier and juicier because when the markets are down 30%, are they going to be down another 30%? Probability is really low, so the risk is low, and you're getting compensated for really high returns because everybody's buying puts, and so if I'm selling it, I'm the one collecting high premiums. Same thing on the way up. If everybody's greedy, everybody has this euphoria, and stocks are going up, they've gone up 20, 30%, and everybody's buying calls, hoping that it's going to go even higher, and I'm selling it, then the risk reward ends up being very good. So that's a quick breakdown. I have a few calls of Palantir expiring in March. I'm down about 60 to 80%. Should I hold or roll to a future date? So it would help if you can tell me the exact expiration, the strike price, whether you bought them or sold them. Then I'll be able to better help. I'm assuming you've sold those calls at a strike that's already in the money, expiring in March. But if you can share more details, I'd be more than happy to help. From South Africa, but moved to China. I was wondering what's good broker app is the best to use. Interesting. We actually don't have a broker list for China, but I think it might be useful to create one. I don't know if we have any members. We actually have spoken to a few members that are in China. They're not from China, but they moved there and they were trading. But if we have any members that are from China, either on YouTube, you're watching now, or in Discord, let us know. We'll add it to the broker list. So the broker list is on our Discord. You can pretty much go over there and check the country. And those are all the brokers that our members from that country are using. We're not affiliated in any way, but I just wanted to create a list of brokers that our members are using in that country. So that it kind of helps out the new members if they're joining us and they don't know, who to trade or what to trade with. Webull has actually got offices in the US. I think the holding company is from China, but Webull as a separate entity is based out of US. I think they actually might be based out of Florida. Last time I checked. But yeah, I'm not sure if Webull is going to be in China. All right, everyone. So 1 minute left. Let's do this. Also, don't forget, we've got the Black Friday sale for TradingView. If you want to take advantage of that, I've also got a link for that right here. It's the best charting software platform I use. TradingView's got one of those sales that they do like twice a year, Thanksgiving and Christmas. So Black Friday usually gets up to 60 to 70% off if you are interested in taking advantage of that. I usually only recommend upgrading if you are absolutely convinced that this is something that you need. There's a lot of things you can do for free, but you can upgrade as per your needs. If you want access to a couple different indicators, a few more watch lists, a few more features, things like that. So that's always available. All right, everybody, markets open here. We've got QQQs up over 90 basis points, S&P pushing higher, individual stocks also moving up. Volatility is slightly down about 3% here. So we're down to 22.5, down about 3%. So let's see what the day brings in for us. Remember, shorter week, so only 3 days of trading is what we have. Bought the calls for Palantir, March 2260 strike. Yeah, I mean, Palantir sold off quite a bit, right? So as a result, those are down 80 to 60%. I would wait to see how Palantir trades over the coming weeks here, until January at least, because you still got a lot of time for this trade to work out. And as I said, you're buying options, which has a lower probability of profit, because when you're buying option, you have to be right on the price, the direction, and the time, all three at once, which is why it becomes challenging. But yeah, you've got time until expiration, so I would give it maybe a few more weeks and months to see how Palantir trades. All right, thank you so much for joining, everybody. Happy investing. I will jump into our Discord. If you have any questions, just email me, admin@moneyvest.com. More than happy to help. And as always, happy investing. Have a great Monday morning.